It was 3:45 p.m. on a beautiful Saturday afternoon in Atlanta when Katt Williams realized he was hopelessly lost. He had been trying to find his way to a private party at the Ritz-Carlton, but had taken a wrong turn somewhere near Piedmont Park. Now he was standing in the parking lot of what appeared to be a beautiful historic mansion, checking his GPS and trying to figure out where he'd gone wrong. "Excuse me, sir. Are you here for the Johnson-Thompson wedding?" Katt turned to see an elderly black woman in an elegant purple dress approaching him. She had the kind of warm smile that reminded him of his grandmother. "Actually, ma'am, I think I'm lost." "Oh, don't be modest, honey. You must be one of Marcus's friends from college. I'm Grandma Rose, the bride's grandmother. Come on in. The ceremony's about to start." Before Katt could explain the misunderstanding, Grandma Rose had linked her arm through his and was leading him toward the mansion's entrance. "Grandma Rose, I think there's been a mistake." "Nonsense. Marcus told me he'd invited some comedian friends. You're probably nervous about seeing everyone again. Come on, let's get you seated." As they walked through the ornate doors, Katt found himself in the middle of what was clearly an intimate, elegant wedding. About 80 people were seated in white chairs facing a beautiful archway decorated with white roses and baby's breath. Soft piano music was playing, and everyone was dressed in their finest attire. "There's a seat right there," Grandma Rose whispered, pointing to an empty chair in the third row. "I'll see you at the reception, honey." Katt looked around, realizing he was in a delicate situation. He could either cause a scene by explaining he didn't belong here, or he could quietly sit through the ceremony and slip out afterward. He chose the latter and took the seat. A moment later, the wedding march began, and everyone stood as the bridal party started down the aisle. First came 3 bridesmaids in elegant navy blue dresses, then a young flower girl who couldn't have been more than 5 years old, scattering rose petals with the seriousness of someone performing brain surgery. Then the bride appeared, and Katt understood why this family was so happy. She was radiant, a young black woman in her late 20s, wearing a simple but stunning white dress, her face glowing with pure joy. As she walked down the aisle with her father, Katt could see tears of happiness in the eyes of everyone around him. The groom, waiting at the altar, looked like he might faint from emotion when he saw his bride. He was a tall, handsome man about the same age, and when their eyes met, Katt felt like he was witnessing something truly sacred. During the ceremony, Katt found himself genuinely moved by the vow. The couple, Jasmine and Marcus, spoke about overcoming obstacles together, about building a life based on faith, family, and mutual respect. There was something so genuine and heartfelt about their words that Katt forgot he was supposed to be somewhere else. "Marcus," the bride said during her vows, "you've shown me that love isn't just about the good times. It's about standing together when things get hard, celebrating each other's dreams, and building something bigger than ourselves." "Jasmine," Marcus responded, "you've taught me that real strength comes from vulnerability, that real success comes from lifting each other up, and that real love means choosing each other every single day." When the minister pronounced them husband and wife, the entire room erupted in cheers and applause. Katt found himself clapping along, genuinely happy for these 2 people he'd never met, but who had somehow touched his heart. As the recessional music played, and the couple walked back down the aisle, Jasmine's eyes landed on Katt. She paused for just a moment, looking confused, then continued walking, but Katt caught the look. She knew he didn't belong there. During the cocktail hour, Katt tried to make his exit, but Grandma Rose appeared again. "There you are. Come meet the family. Everyone's so excited to meet Marcus's comedian friend." Before he could protest, she was leading him toward a group of people who all turned to greet him with warm smiles. "This is Marcus's cousin David, his uncle James, and his sister Michelle. Nice to meet you all," Katt said, feeling increasingly uncomfortable with the deception. "So how do you know Marcus?" David asked. "Well, actually, he's being modest," Grandma Rose interrupted. "Marcus told me all about how they met in college. You boys and your comedy shows." Katt was trapped. He could either come clean and potentially ruin the mood of this beautiful celebration, or he could play along a little longer and find a way to gracefully exit. "Yeah, Marcus is a great guy," he said vaguely. "You know, Uncle James said, We could use some entertainment at the reception. Think you could tell a few jokes? Nothing too wild. We've got kids here. Oh, I don't think. That's a wonderful idea. Grandma Rose clapped her hands together. A little entertainment would be perfect. Just then, the bride and groom approached the group. Jasmine looked directly at Katt. I don't think we've met, she said with a polite but puzzled smile. I'm Jasmine, the bride. Congratulations, Katt said. You look beautiful, and the ceremony was really moving. Thank you, and you are. This was the moment of truth. Katt took a deep breath. Actually, I think there's been a misunderstanding. I'm not supposed to be here. The group looked confused. Marcus stepped forward. What do you mean? I got lost trying to find another event, and your grandmother thought I was one of your friends. I didn't want to interrupt the ceremony, so I just went with it. There was a moment of awkward silence. Then unexpectedly, Marcus started laughing. Wait, so you're telling me you accidentally crashed our wedding? I'm really sorry. I should have said something earlier, but everything was so beautiful and I didn't want to cause a scene. Jasmine looked at her new husband, then at Katt, then burst into laughter too. This is the most random thing that's ever happened to me, she said. What's your name? Katt Williams. Uncle James's eyes widened. Wait, the Katt Williams. The comedian. Guilty as charged. The group erupted in excited chatter. Grandma Rose looked proud of herself. I knew you were someone special. I could tell by the way you carried yourself. Marcus shook his head in amazement. So let me get this straight. Katt Williams accidentally crashed our wedding, sat through our entire ceremony, and nobody noticed. I noticed, Jasmine said with a grin. I saw you during the recessional and thought, I don't know that man, but he looks really invested in our happiness. I was. Your vows were beautiful. You two are clearly meant for each other. Well, Marcus said, since you're already here, and since Grandma Rose has been telling everyone you're going to entertain us, how about you stay for the reception? Consider it payment for the emotional support during the ceremony. I couldn't impose. You're not imposing, Jasmine said. You're our unexpected wedding gift. Plus, I've never had a famous comedian at my wedding before. And think about it, Marcus added with a grin. 50 years from now, we'll be telling our grandkids about the time Katt Williams accidentally came to our wedding. That's a story you can't make up. The reception was held in the mansion's ballroom, and it was clear this was a close-knit family celebration. During dinner, Katt found himself seated at a table with Grandma Rose and several other family elders, who peppered him with questions about his life and career. You know, Grandma Rose said, I've been to a lot of weddings in my 78 years, and I've never seen a stranger sit through a ceremony with such genuine respect and attention. That says something about your character. It says something about your family too, Katt replied. The love in that room during the ceremony was so strong, I couldn't help but be moved by it. When it came time for the entertainment, Marcus stood up and addressed the room. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special surprise tonight. Through a series of events that only God could orchestrate, we have been joined by someone who wasn't supposed to be here but was exactly where he needed to be. Please give a warm welcome to our unexpected guest, Katt Williams. The room erupted in applause as Katt took the makeshift stage, but instead of launching into his usual routine, he did something different. First of all, I want to thank Marcus and Jasmine for not having me arrested, he began, getting laughs from the crowd. But seriously, I've performed at a lot of events, but I've never crashed a wedding before. He looked at the happy couple. You know, I came here by accident, but I think maybe it wasn't really an accident. Maybe I needed to see what real love looks like, what a real family celebration feels like. Katt's voice grew more sincere. I sat through your ceremony, and I watched two people make promises to each other that they clearly intend to keep. I watched a room full of people who genuinely love and support each other, and I realized that this kind of love, this kind of community, this is what success really looks like. He turned to address the bride and groom directly. Marcus and Jasmine, I may have crashed your wedding, but you've given me something much more valuable. You've reminded me what really matters. So here's my wedding gift to you. The promise that 50 years from now, when you're telling your grandkids about the crazy comedian who accidentally came to your wedding, I'll still be rooting for your love story. The room was silent for a moment, then erupted in applause and cheers. Many people were wiping away tears, including the bride and groom. After a few light-hearted jokes appropriate for the family crowd, Katt concluded his impromptu performance. As the evening wound down, Jasmine and Marcus approached him. "Katt, we can't thank you enough," Jasmine said. "You turned what could have been an awkward situation into something magical. You made our wedding unforgettable," Marcus added. "In the best possible way." "Can I ask you both something?" Katt said. "Of course. What's the secret? You two have something special, something real. What's the key?" Jasmine and Marcus looked at each other and smiled. "Choosing each other every day," Jasmine said, "even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. And remembering that we're building something together," Marcus added. "Not just a marriage, but a legacy, something that will outlast us both." As Katt prepared to leave, Grandma Rose approached him one more time. "Katt, honey, I want you to know something. I knew you weren't one of Marcus's college friends the moment I saw you." "You did?" "Of course I did, but I also knew you were someone who needed to be here tonight. Sometimes God sends us exactly who we need, even when we don't know we need them. So you set me up?" Grandma Rose winked. "Let's just say I believe in divine appointments. And judging by that beautiful speech you gave, you needed to see this love story as much as we needed you to be part of it." 3 months later, Katt received an invitation in the mail. It was for Marcus and Jasmine's first Thanksgiving as a married couple, and they wanted him to join their family celebration. After all, the invitation read, "You're part of our story now, and family always has a seat at our table." Katt attended that Thanksgiving dinner, and it became an annual tradition. He watched Marcus and Jasmine buy their first house, celebrated when Jasmine got promoted at her job as a social worker, and was there when Marcus started his own consulting business. 2 years later, when they had their first child, they asked Katt to be the baby's godfather. "Are you sure?" he asked, holding little Rose named after Grandma Rose for the first time. "Absolutely," Jasmine said. "You taught us that family isn't just about blood. Sometimes the most important people in your life are the ones who show up when you least expect them." "Besides," Marcus added with a grin, "what's one more family crasher?" Now 5 years later, Uncle Katt is a beloved member of the Johnson-Thompson family. He never did make it to that party at the Ritz-Carlton, but he found something much better, a reminder that the best moments in life are often the ones you never plan. And every year on Marcus and Jasmine's wedding anniversary, he gets a text with the same message. "Thanks for getting lost and finding us, because sometimes the wrong turn leads you exactly where you're supposed to be."